When are you ready for us, Nick?
You're rolling, dude.
Oh, shit, we're rolling.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's some B-roll.
Yeah.
okay.
Got that
Well, that's a good intro.
B-roll. No, well, you were talking about, like, just like at some point we'll do an introduction and stuff like that. Because everybody's probably wondering, who the fuck are these guys and what are they doing?
Well, they already know who you are.
And then when you're like, yeah,
Who's this dick?
who is this fucking guy?
Why is his head so shiny?
I was worried about that. I was actually worried about that. I was like, I'm going to have to, like, dull down my head.
Both of you guys, what's up?
I know.
Man, mine's fresh. Like,
It's a
this
prereq.
just happened.
That's
It
the
is.
thing.
It
That's
looks good.
See, that's the thing you don't understand is halfway through the show, we're going to shave your head.
You're going to have a fight on your hands,
It's
brother.
called it's a stunt. Yeah, we got a stunt coming up.
No, it's cool. I already roofied your Coke.
Yeah. I knew I felt good. I knew I felt good. I missed, what?
Or maybe I roofied my rock star.
You ever roofie yourself?
Yes.
It's another Tuesday.
So who are you? You just walked in here.
My name is Eli Jones. I'm a former Marine. I was infantry with 1st Light Armored Reconnaissance Battalion from 2008 to 2012.
Okay.
Did a combat tour in Afghanistan in 2010. Did a little stint in India. And, yeah, moved back to North Carolina when I got out in 2012. I've been living in North Carolina since then.
Since you got out of the Marines.
Yes.
Cool. And did you like it? Did you enjoy it?
That's a difficult question.
All right.
That is
okay.
a loaded question,
Right.
Scott.
Yes and no.
right.
I really miss the brotherhood. I miss my friends. It's just a connection that I felt like I was kind of looking for from the time I got out until now. I've found something similar to that now. But at first, I had a really difficult time relating with everybody because I just missed my bros. We lived together, worked together, partied together. We did everything together.
Fought together.
Yeah.
Each other and the enemy, right?
Yes.
Did you shower it? You said,
Hazed each other.
Yes.
you
Oh,
said,
we don't say that.
Yeah, no, we
No,
don't
no
haze.
hazing.
No, we can't haze anymore.
What did we call it? When command asked? It wasn't hazing. It was forcibly instructing.
Forcibly instructing or teaching a lesson.
Yes, yes. It was lesson time.
Yeah. It had educational material. to it.
Yes, it was educational moments. Now, you and I really relate because, I was in the Marines from 2000 2005. And I think we met once before over at the VA and really hit it off right back. And that's something that when Scott was asking if we missed it, like if you missed it, I know what you meant right there because I don't miss a lot. But the things that I do miss are just, I can't, like, it gets me emotional. I don't like to admit it, but I get emotional sometimes, and I know that's how I got where I am. So is that kind of something that was the same for you? I don't know. Like, do you feel like missing those certain parts, the brotherhood, the camaraderie, the always being there, knowing you had your back? I know that was, not having that is what kind of led me to my downfall in some aspects of my life. Was that the same for you? Because I know a couple of us have been like that.
Or were you already on the downward spiral, like in the Marines and after? Like, was it perpetuated by, like, I'm not in the service anymore? Because, like, and I can relate. Yeah, I mean, the three of us actually met at the VA here in Asheville. And I was in the Navy from 88 to 96.
God, you're old.
I know. I just dated myself. And now nobody will date me except old ladies.
But on the bright side, you look really old.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
In a good way.
In a good way.
Distinguished.
Thanks. And I know that, I can relate to it. For me, it was, it was getting out and not having that camaraderie. Now, the brotherhood, people I could depend on, I think that was the big thing. Because I launched right into the business world. And people in business normal people don't work like veterans work.
The cutthroat, too.
Yeah, and they're not dependable. Like, they do 10% of the job. It's like, I just show up and clock in and do this. And that stuff used to drive me nuts. And I know it was a difficult aspect for me. And it perpetuated, it played a big part. I was already on my downward spiral, and it perpetuated it.
Yeah.
So I'll be 100% honest. I was still having fun at that time. Like my drinking and my getting messed up in other ways, like I was having a blast. So it's hard to say if that kind of perpetuated it or if it was already started. I mean, I think it started way before the Marine Corps. But I did have a really big problem identifying with people who didn't serve, and even in deeper detail, I had a problem identifying with people who weren't infantry in the Marine Corps, especially. So, like, I could be hanging out with a group of veterans, and if you weren't infantry, then go fuck yourself.
Yeah, you weren't shit.
But
Pogues.
I think a lot of that comes from some inner stuff. Like, I identified as a Marine. That's who Eli was. Eli was a Marine.
Okay.
Infantry Marine. It wasn't what I did, it's who I was.
Okay.
And after taking some time, I got to look at some things and realize that that's not who I am. It's just something that I did, something that I really loved the fact that I did. But it wasn't exactly who I was, if that makes sense.
Sure.
No, I mean, yeah, that makes total sense.
Now, you said something interesting a minute ago. You said you missed that brotherhood or that connectivity, and you've recently found that. So you found that in some other manner?
Yes, I have.
And where have you found that at?
I've found it in 12-step programs.
Oh, yeah. Interesting 12-step program.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, so something that I learned after coming to a 12-step program and actually doing the 12 steps is I have this problem of constantly trying to separate myself from. I cannot identify with anybody because I'm either better than or less than. And once I realized that I'm not more than or less than, I'm just part of, things started clicking, and that was a direct result of 12 steps. And I'm able to find connection with these other people in recovery because we have the same we have the same problem, right? Like we're all people who suffered from this disease, and we know what it's like. We don't even have to really go into detail about describing what it's like because we already know. It's the only place two strangers can meet and reminisce of the past. I think I heard somebody say one time, and that's very accurate. But the thing that makes it even stronger is that when you actually do the steps and start to figure out who you are, you're bound even tighter because y'all have this common solution. Like not only did you suffer together, but you had a similar way to get some hope back in your life.
So when you say 12 steps, you're talking about the 12 steps of recovery.
Yes, I am.
Recovering from?
For me, alcoholism and drug addiction.
Oh, for me too. Yeah, how about you?
Not so much the alcoholism.
Right, okay.
I just lost my taste for it, but I think I tried to make up for it in every drug possible.
Sure, and that's primarily the reason why we're here is because we're all recovering. We're recovered addicts and alcoholics, and that was the whole point of actually launching this project was to be able to capture that, to be able to offer something to the recovery community. And we're all recovering from something. It just happens to be that there's three of us in a room at this point in time that in that aspect, it's from drugs and alcohol and things like that. You mentioned, Eli, that we suffer from a disease, or you suffered from a disease. Was that an STD you picked up in the Marines?
No. So
okay.
What the?
We just need to clarify.
Yeah. I actually picked it up when I was visiting Michigan. There was this lovely lady there by the name of Mrs. Rambo.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh,
oh my God! Are you talking about one of my wives? Notice I put an S on the end of that.
I did.
Yeah, I've had a few of those.
No, I'm just busting your back.
I know.
No, it's something that I actually believe that this is just my theory on it. This is Eli Jones's opinion.
Sure.
I think we're born with it. I don't think any outside factors play into it. I don't think I got it from being in the Marine Corps, going through trauma. I don't think I got it from being depressed. I don't think I got it from having anxiety.
Okay.
I think I got it because I have it, And
Okay.
and honestly, it doesn't matter how I got it or why I have it. The fact of the matter is that I do have it.
yeah.
Is that So you mentioned anxiety, depression, PTSD.
Yes.
Yeah, PTSD.
I do.
I didn't want to make an assumption. I just wanted to clarify. And have you ever received treatment for that?
Lots of treatment for that.
Yeah.
About 2.5 years of solid treatment, therapy based, and prescription medications. Tried a lot of different stuff.
How ironic is that, though? You know, I'm going through the same thing with the prescription from the VA, helping out with my addiction, and it's just kind of mind blowing that I'm dependent on one thing medically that they're helping me get off of the other thing. So it's like mentally, I'm saying, are they just putting me on one thing that they can control, or are they actually trying to help me? I went through all those when I was in treatment.
That seems to kind of be a VA thing. It's like they just, let's shit on the VA for a second. It's like, I mean, I had a suitcase full of medication that I gotten, and when I saw a psychiatrist outside of the VA, he's like, "What meds are you on?" I literally brought not a suitcase, but it was like a briefcase suitcase. I brought that in and set it down. I said, "Here, this is going to be easier than me telling you everything that they've put me on."
The combination lockbox that you can get in the pharmacy.
Yeah, exactly. And and he went, "Whoops!" And of course, proceeded to go through it and throw that stuff out. But you had mentioned you don't feel that any of those aspects, PTSD, anxiety, depression, or anything like that didn't cause alcoholism or drug addiction.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I was on the medications for about 2 years. Like I said, did some therapy, and I can say now that I'm not on any medication for PTSD, anxiety, or depression.
Wow.
Something the VA does, and I believe most doctors do. I'm not a doctor, so I can't say with 100% accuracy, but their job is to treat the symptoms, right?
Yeah.
You go in and your back hurts, they're going to give you some ibuprofen to help with the back pain. But what if it's a compressed disc in your neck or something? It's they're treating the symptoms. They're doing the best they can.
Okay.
Some symptoms of my addiction, my alcoholism, are that depression, I withdraw, I lose hope, get in a really dark place. I hate being around people. I get anxious. I'm uncomfortable in every situation.
Currently?
No.
So those things have been remedied.
Yes.
And do you believe that that's in part or wholesome from working a 12-step program?
100%, without a doubt in my mind. That's from working a 12-step program.
Okay.
You know what stuck out, though, when you talked about the 12-step program? To me, like, when you were talking about how you were before and identifying as a Marine, that was Eli Jones. And if you weren't infantry, you weren't shit. What I noticed, what you said, like, in your 12-step program, it doesn't matter anymore. And that's what's great about them, because I've been involved with the 12-step. It doesn't matter at all what you did, how much you did, how much you lost, whatever. You suffer from something, or an addiction to something.
Sure.
And people have open arms, and I know that feeling was great because I didn't have to justify why I was there. Like in the movie with Dave Chappelle about getting high all the time.
Oh, Half Baked.
Half Baked.
I love that movie.
When Danny Tanner, what's his name?
You ever suck dick for weed?
He's like, yeah. I suck dick for coke. And then he shunned him, and I actually remembered that going to my first meeting. And I was kind of scared, but I know that I did some hard stuff. But is someone going to be like, no, you don't come in here? But there is a welcoming feeling in these rooms.
Yeah.
And is that what did you notice that difference?
Yes. So I kind of felt it when I first came in that everyone was kind of viewed the same ish. Right. Like I was welcome, but kind of kept at a one arm's distance. People don't want to get really attached to the newcomer because that's a good way to get hurt.
Are you talking about? You're talking about like in meetings when you came in?
Yes. When I first came into recovery here in Asheville back in 2016.
Sure.
People. Some people really welcomed me, and some people didn't. You're gonna have that experience everywhere, but I just kept hanging around until I found somewhere where the people like honestly cared about me. They may not have liked me, but they loved me enough to give me the truth.
Well, I think I can speak from experience. There's still people that don't like
No,
No.
But they do love you.
But they do love you.
Exactly.
Yeah, they love you. Yeah. Now, was this? I'm kind of curious. Was that a veteran meeting, or like? Did you find it difficult to be able to integrate yourself because of the fact that you're a veteran, or did it really matter? Was that something you were kind of like able to take off the veteran coat, hang it on the door outside the meeting, walk in, you've got the common condition, and then put the veteran thing on the outside?
I mean, initially, no.
Okay.
And I kind of had a mindset that these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't know what I've been through.
Right.
They don't know this. They don't know that. When the truth is, they know pain like I know pain.
Okay.
I think I mentioned it earlier. Like I've got this problem, and it correlates with the disease. My mind's constantly trying to separate me from others, from everything. Just isolate me, get me alone, or make me feel alone.
Okay.
And that was a really difficult thing to set that aside. I wasn't able to do that until I honestly did some work on the steps instead of just going to meetings.
Okay.
Yeah. That's like inspiring, actually. And I'm not trying to be like hokey, like, oh yeah, thanks for coming in.
You're so
Now,
welcome.
do you,
Inspired me. No, that's exactly how it's supposed to work.
Did you ever seek out any assistance through the VA for, pardon me, for alcoholism and or drug addiction through the VA itself, or did you just like throw yourself into 12-step program meetings?
I'm really glad you asked that question. First of all, I want to give props to the Charles George VA Medical Center.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It's amazing. I know a lot of people talk bad about the VA, but I've had nothing but good experiences on the mental health side. In 2016, that's when I first started trying to get clean and sober.
Okay.
I set up an appointment at the VA hospital here in Asheville sometime in March. I went. They were initially just going to prescribe me a maintenance drug, and
Like marijuana?
No.
In California.
I've heard it's a maintenance drug.
That's what they say.
Okay.
But no, it was a prescription maintenance drug, which they did end up prescribing me, but they got me into the 28-day treatment program there, the SARP.
The SARP program.
That's a great program.
It's a great program. I've been through it myself. Yeah.
I'm alumni as well.
Oh, yeah. All SARPers.
Yeah.
I liked it so much, I went twice.
Yeah. Was that back to back or
No.
Okay.
Over the course of 3 years.
That's good.
But
How was your experience with the staff there at the Charles George? Like, what was your impression? I mean, I have my own, but I'm curious what yours was.
The staff all around at the VA hospital, everyone is very, what's the word I'm looking for? They just want to be helpful. Like you can be walking down the hallway, fucking staring at the ceiling, and somebody will come up and say, "Hey, you know where you're going? You need help finding where you're going."
Mm-hmm.
And that was my experience. When I was an inpatient, we had great counselors, great psychiatrists,
Okay.
great groups. And I think that made it a lot easier being new in recovery because I'm surrounded by veterans in that environment. And so I'm having to try a little bit harder to separate myself from others.
Was it the first time, was the VA responsible for introducing you to 12-step recovery? Or were you familiar with it before you went to the VA?
No, I was familiar with it before. So I probably went to my first AA meeting when I was about 50. It was an Alcoholics Anonymous
50?
meeting at about 15 years old.
15.
15.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And,
Teener.
and it was in a town I won't mention because I don't want to bash any 12-step program in any town. But
Oh, go ahead, please. Please, we're gonna do that at some point in time, regardless.
So-
Maybe not on this episode, but it's gonna happen. Yeah, it's
Tune in.
an
Inevitable?
Thank you.
Yes, you're
Indubitably.
Yeah. Too many energy drinks.
So, my Coke dealer had got DUI, and he was being court ordered to go to Alcoholics Anonymous.
Okay.
So, like I said, I was about 15 years old, and I met him up there at the church, and
To buy Coke?
we freaking blew lines of Coke in the church parking lot
before a meeting.
before an AA meeting. And I was
Of course.
like, "Fuck it, I'll go with you."
All right.
I hadn't drank today.
Does this guy know how to party or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was one of my first introductions to a 12-step program, and also in 2015, I started trying to get sober,
Okay.
and I hit a couple meetings, but I just wasn't ready. Like I wasn't wanting to hear anything anybody had to say. I was just going to appease other people.
Yeah, we do that.
And it didn't work.
That's a theme that happened when I went to that SART program. I was not court ordered, but I had just gotten in trouble. I just got out of jail, spent like 6 days in there. Nobody would bail me out. I finally got someone to, and I went to SART too, and I went there to think that it might get me out of, or help me get out of my court trouble, which I'm still going through. But 2 days into it, it clicked, and I was lucky because that's my first time through a program.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And 15 years of addiction, and first time going through the program, and I just hit 6 months. And
Congrats.
Thank you. And it's scary because like the average number is what, 7 times through a program before it sticks. Like I looked it up, and
It's like 7 times. Huh.
7 times. Yeah.
I've been through 5. I
2 more times, buddy. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'd gone through. I'd gone through what, 3 before.
Yeah.
Before I actually made it to the SART program in Michigan, I had 6 years sober, and went back out for 11 years, drinking and drugging, and then came back into the SART program. And the one thing that I found is it's interesting. I mean, I had to go through what I had to go through to get where I am today, but being in the program and being around other veterans in recovery, especially as a baseline, like starting out, there were times where I would just kind of survey the landscape, and I would think, man, I wish I would have had this the first time around. Maybe it would have made a significant difference where I wouldn't have gone back out for 11 years. I mean, I can't go back in time or predict the future given, additional resources. But I know for myself personally, being around veterans at early recovery, those first 30 days was crucial, was really crucial this time for me.
And I feel lucky to have that for my first time through. And I'm, dead set on making it stick. I don't want to be a statistic. And then I had to realize that the number's at 7 for a reason.
Okay.
Skewing numbers and all that. If people didn't go through 1 or 2 times, the number would be at like 42.
Oh yeah.
The
I see what you're
averages
saying.
and
Yeah,
stuff.
the averages.
So there are people that have gone through one time, and I was in a step meeting, and it was serendipitous almost because I was terrified, thinking I just learned this number, and I'm like, oh my gosh, so I'm destined to relapse. Why am I even here? Right? That's where it was in my head, right? Because everybody says an average of 7 times. Well, I couldn't get that out of my head. Well, this kid who was a speaker for someone's celebration, he was a one-timer. And he had just hit 2 years clean.
Yeah.
And that was just I needed that at that moment.
Right. Well, I think the statistics that I've seen from personal experience and observation is it's based on age. Like, how old are you, Eli?
I'm 29 years
29.
old.
Okay, so you're like on the cusp. You actually got a little bit earlier.
He's a baby.
Yeah, because generally people that come into the program in their 30s stand a better chance of actually maintaining some type of long-term sobriety without actually going back on a relapse.
There was a paper that came out. I'm on delay. It sounds awful.
There's
a paper that came out.
Who the fuck are you? No, I'm just kidding.
That said it was like, and this was done over like a period of like 30 or 40 years.
Okay.
That we stop and start around, for people who get it and it lasts, it's like 18 times. Like that's not 18 rehab
18
visits, but
times?
It's like that's kind of like the magic number.
Wow.
For a lot of people.
Jeez,
where you like, but I mean that could be like,
I could, yeah.
I'm gonna stop, and you go for like 2 days.
I've done, yeah. I had
serious, so.
I had a few of those.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. So
Wait, who the heck goes for 2 days?
people that can't find it.
They must not be real addicts, or
No.
I've got a 48 hour.
Yeah,
Dude, I can, and I've done this before. I can land at an airport, go check into my hotel, and in 15 minutes after getting my bags there, I can be high.
once you learn that, but like there's all different types of experiences in addiction. I mean, there's people that, all right, I'm not being sexist. I could be, but I'm not.
Oh, boy, here we go.
But
You know,
Like,
how someone's
think-
going to be sexist.
think
It's
about
going to be sexist.
Stop. Think about the pretty girl addicts. Every time you've seen been at a party, they just have drugs handed to them.
Well, of course
They don't
do,
have
yeah.
to work for it. They don't have to
Right.
do all that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if they land in an airport and they have to go around, well, if they don't know the right area of town to go to a party at,
Right.
you know, they're not going to get it right off the bat. I mean,
That makes sense.
You're mildly intelligent. I'll give you that. So I mean, at least you can get there and find your own drugs.
Thanks. Yeah, I know how to check into a hotel. Yeah, that's
Barely.
about that. Then and then after that, I'm kind of like, good.
Gets off the airplane. Okay, Google.
So
Where do I find drugs in Atlanta?
over there,
Over there.
Yeah. Over there.
something Nick said that just kind of went off. A little light bulb went off. He said about 17 times people started to get it after that.
Right.
You know, like back in the 40s, 50% success rate. Like people would, you had a 5 out of 10 shot, a 1 out of 2 shot of getting it the first time.
You mean like long-term sobriety?
Long-term
without
sobriety.
ever having to drink or drug again?
Yeah.
How the hell do they do that? Because that does not seem to be the case nowadays.
It's a better generation.
Well, I think it was the desperation.
Yeah.
The people were really hurting, and it was made really clear how hopeless their situation was.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, listen, you're either gonna die miserably or you're gonna get better. Which one you want to do?
Right. Did anybody ever tell you that?
No.
No, you did.
Yeah,
oh, JP.
yeah, I had that.
Okay. All right.
Had that little gem of a talk.
So, actually, I just used your name for the first time. We should probably do an introduction. Everybody knows who Eli is because we
Everybody
said
knows Eli.
Everybody
Everyone.
knows Eli, yeah, because we've mentioned his name a couple times. And you're, what name? What do you want us to call
Oh,
him?
everybody knows me by JP.
JP, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm Scott, and this is Just for Today.
Just for today.
Just for Today. Well, it's a Just for Today cast, but it's Just for Today.
Just four.
Four, yeah, the number
number
four. Yes,
Number
just
four
for today. And
It's
yeah,
not just today.
Yeah.
We're gonna have more casts.
yeah, and in case you were wondering, obviously Eli already did his introduction and told us a little bit about himself, being a Marine and a combat veteran, and also a man recovering or recovered.
Recovered.
Recovered, yeah. Well, we should probably talk about that, but yeah, definitely a recovered alcoholic and addict. And the reason why we brought him on the show was, everybody's recovering from something, and what we wanted to take a look at was bringing people onto our show to take a look at the other aspects of, everybody who walks, well, theoretically, we would hope that everybody walks into a 12-step meeting is all there because they have a common issue that they're contending with. But we bring a lot of other things to recovery as well. We bring a lot of other things to our sponsors, to meetings. The three of us sitting here today are all veterans. And that's something that we bring, and that's what we've been talking about, and brought Eli onto the show to give us a little bit of his experience, strength, and hope about being a veteran. We've got some other guests lined up that will come in and talk about some different aspects that they bring to recovery, and that's really the uniqueness of the show is, although we'll talk about recovery and a bunch of other different subjects, we want to be able to take a look at the other things that people bring to be able to kind of get that message out that, hey, wait a minute, if somebody's listening or watching, I contend with that too. I'm just like that as well. So we don't want to downplay the human aspect because, we are human and we bring other things into recovery that may need to be contended with or not contended with. If nothing more, it's something that we can all bond around and say, hey, I'm not the only one. And that was kind of the whole purpose for the show. And I just wanted to thank JP for being here and for Eli coming on and talking to us today, and our producer, Nick, and Broken Helm. For hosting us here at the studio. So, and you said there was something else. You mentioned something interesting, Eli. You talked about recovering or recovered, the difference. What's your understanding of that?
So, there's a lot of confusion around this for some people. Some people think that when I say recovered, that I'm saying it for me but that's definitely not the case. I announced myself as recovered, so the person that's in that room at their very first meeting ever, sitting there staring at the floor, feeling hopeless, thinking that they're never going to get better, thinking that life's never going to get better, even if they can stay stopped for an amount of time. I want them to know that just because I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict doesn't mean that I have to die an alcoholic and a drug addict death.
That probably pisses a lot of people off when you use that word.
You know, whether it does or not, that's fine. It's not about them. It's not about me. It's about the person that doesn't have any hope, giving them some hope.
That's really what it really is. I mean, that's my understanding, and I think you guys would both agree. Actually, all four of us would agree that that's really what it's about, is showing somebody that, there's a way out, and you actually can recover. I know personally, it really chaps my butt when I go into meetings and stuff, and I see the guy or the girl that I know for a fact has a great quality of life because they practice the program. I'm not talking about stuff like they live in a big house and have a fancy car, and a wife or a husband and kids, although a lot of us do get those things as a result of working the 12 steps. I mean, they're working a good program, and they don't identify themselves as a recovered person. But that's a me thing.
Yeah.
How you feel about
It's not all about you.
Fuck that shit, man. It's all about it. Well, it is all about me. No, today's Eli's day.
Yeah, it's about me today.
I will. I think tomorrow is my day. I don't know. It might be somebody else's day.
I get Thursdays.
Tomorrow. You get Thursdays?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thursday's gonna be tough for you.
Thursday's gonna be tough for you.
It's gonna be real tough.
Yeah. You don't know. Oh
No.
yeah, we gotta share that joke.
One of these days. But yeah, Scott, I definitely get what you're saying, because for a while that did upset me, and then that goes back to something I mentioned earlier, that separation.
Yep.
You know, I'm separating myself from them because I know that they've got this thing, but they're not telling people. Why the fuck aren't they doing it?
Right.
You know what? It's okay.
Yeah, I've had to contend with that. I mean, I announce myself as a recovered alcoholic and a recovered addict. I get a lot of flack in a certain fellowship when I say that, and they're like, "Oh, how much time do you have?" And I'm like, 6 months. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I get the looks." They refer to them as the old heads. I get the looks. And they're like, 6 months. I'm like, "Yeah, work through all 12 steps. I've done all my personal amends, some of my financial, and I'm sponsoring people." And they look at me like I'm freaking out of my gourd.
Well,
like,
they're right.
Yeah,
but
not just they give me that look. Yeah, like he always give me
Oh, that's nice.
On that note,
you don't say.
Oh boy, here we go.
Well, it's not
did you have
special.
a vital spiritual experience?
I did. I had a no. I've had spiritual experiences. There's a difference. I've had a spiritual awakening as a result of working the 12 steps of this program. I just so happened to do it with a sponsor. Although the only time you need another human being, according to the literature, is when you do a 5th step, and then obviously when you make amends. But I did do all the steps with the sponsor. Yeah, and I got a spiritual awakening as a result of it.
Also, the big book was written before there were sponsors. So.
Yeah, I can't find that word in there, although it might be in there.
Mentor, protege.
Yep, they say that.
Yeah,
Yep.
but it was written before the term sponsor came out. The term sponsor came from actually people in detoxes and psych wards.
Okay.
A member of, at this time it was.
And I've been to both.
If you've been to SARP, you've been to both.
I might have to go to one after this show.
So
A psych ward, mind you, not a detox.
Yeah, bro.
So the term actually came from when people were on these wards. A member of Alcoholics Anonymous, because that was the only fellowship around at the time, would go and sign this person out.
Okay.
They would sponsor them to go out to a meeting, and then they would be responsible for them to bring them back after.
So they would be a responsor.
Responsor.
A responsor. I guess it would be if you went back and signed the same person out again.
Yeah.
I'd like to
That's a responsor, yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. A little bit of history.
Yeah, I mean, totally irrelevant, but
No.
I mean,
Man, I love those little like tidbits. Like I bring out the percentages before. I just love that little stuff, like the origins of everything. And it's funny. I feel unintentionally, separate at this moment because I haven't done my steps.
why not? I'm just fucking.
I just haven't. I'm 6 months clean, and I had a sponsor, and we didn't mesh, and then I kind of the home group I was at just kind of didn't. It started losing its feel and everything. So I've been looking for another one, but I'm actively doing that. But I don't know. I've got the workbook and all that stuff, but I just haven't done it. I'm in a good groove though, so I don't want to mess that up. But I'm still actively doing stuff. I just feel like, man, I'm behind.
Sorry, you said the word workbook, and I laughed a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
But
But it was given to me. I didn't pay for it.
Dude, that's awesome. Like you're actively seeking. That's a big part of recovery.
Yeah.
I've found is actively seeking.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm not in despair. I mean, I'm actually doing things that I wasn't doing before. I'm back into video games and doing I was showing you my pen that you liked.
It's pretty fucking
My
awesome.
little
By the way.
Goku pen.
You're
And-
in video games? Like you got casted as somebody?
No, but I do have friends that have.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm trying to get back out to
I'm
LA
a
to
big
do
video
that.
gamer too. Do you play video games, Eli?
No,
You don't
I
have
do
time
not.
for that shit,
No,
do you?
I don't have time
Fuck
for it.
no, he's too fucking busy.
I would, but I just don't have time for it.
Well, I played
You should-
Red Dead Redemption. You
Yeah,
ever heard
that's
of
a
that?
good game. Yeah, yeah. One of
Oh,
my
I played
kids,
part two.
one of my
It was
kids has that.
I played Red Dead Revolver back in the day.
A Velvet Revolver.
Red Dead
Revolver.
Oh, okay.
I think it was the first Red Dead
You
game.
Yeah,
dude, see, you
it
have
was.
to. Well, so yeah, Eli. I mean, obviously, I'm just gonna go. Well, because I know you. Otherwise, if I didn't know
Do
you, I
you?
just wouldn't pick you up off the streets. I didn't pick you up at like the VA and just drag you in here. But yeah, I mean, you got a relationship and you work. You know, and I know the woman you're with. She's awesome, and you know, you've got work and some service commitments and sponsees. You need to fire some fucking sponsees so you can make video game time, man. And you got football,
Yeah.
football on Sundays.
Oh man.
Just get rid of just get rid of 2, and you could make time. You know, because I mean, you don't want to get rid of Haley.
Where's my time?
She's good to have around.
right now.
Where's my time?
Exactly.
now,
you need to
JP.
make video game time for yourself.
So, something that I've found is when I try and make time for things other than recovery related stuff,
Right.
like it always fucking falls short. you know,
fucking face. I know it
it's
sucks,
like,
right?
oh, you want some control back? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, like, any time that I think I don't have any more time available, if a man asks me to sponsor him, magically that time just fucking makes itself available. It's crazy stuff. But yeah, trying to make time for video games or watching football. So
Sure.
I'm a big fan of football.
You are. Who's your team?
San Francisco 49ers.
Well, we all can't be we all, yeah. You know, not everybody can be. Not everybody can be a Lions fan.
Don't choke on that over there, buddy.
Okay, JP, who's your team then?
Detroit.
Really?
Yeah.
My fucking brother, dude. Yes. Really?
Yeah, I'm
Two
telling
and
you.
2-1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, man.
No, we're
two.
We're
2-1.
we're 2-2-1.
2-2
Yeah,
and
we
one.
had a tie this year. I think. What about you, Nick? Who's your team?
Probably Seattle.
I don't really watch sports ball.
Sports ball. He calls it sports ball.
Oh.
So my favorite team, because of marketing,
Yeah.
would probably be the Raiders. They sell the most
Mm-hmm.
volume of product worldwide. After the
I didn't know that.
Cowboys.
Cowboys. The Raiders.
Yeah, but
I had a buddy in the Corps that was the big Raiders fan. That's why I hate him.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
Raiders-
I just never got into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Raiders
I cook-
fans are fucking weird.
My
man.
grandmother. I cooked in the kitchen with my grandmother while everyone else watched football.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then
That
you're going to have
explains a
to
lot.
cook some snacks one day.
Yeah. Speaking
I
of
like
snacks, are you guys hungry?
Oh.
I saw you bring those out.
I hope you
know
have
I kinda
blue.
better.
I'm
I do
starving.
have blue. I've got blue here.
a
Some
red.
white, some
Red.
green. Yeah.
Crimson? Do you have crimson?
Well, that's kind of a, that's like, because we tease you guys all the time.
Yeah, I saw him bring those out like
Yeah. We'll leave
by
those
the
right-
table,
yeah,
and I
we'll
was
leave
like,
those right
I
there.
know where you're going with this.
Where's going with
He's gonna
it?
get
I had
stabbed.
to. I got 2 Marines here. Of course, I had to bring out the crayon.
And of course, yeah, the taxi guy.
You know the interesting
shit.
You know the interesting thing I find about.
I don't get it.
Oh yeah, we should probably explain that for
Yeah.
Nick. So there's a.
Should I show you?
There's a common misperception that
Are you gonna put it
Marines.
in yourself?
Yeah.
Yes.
Should I show you?
Just show. Just.
So there's a common
It's not a misrepresentation.
No, it's not Okay, so there's Marines
Are these anybody's?
are suspected to be a little bit less intelligent than most people.
Still good.
And so they,
It's the
so we
expiration
make fun of them about being crayon eaters.
It's good.
Yeah, and that's one of the interesting things too is that no, I'm not going to try.
Oh, you wanna
I'm
try?
good. Then no, I'm fine.
Here,
Thanks.
this one's great.
It's grape flavored. Yeah. And and I was in the Navy. I'm a Navy vet, so like we always bash on each other. Marines and Navy always have this thing. I think more than any other branches, but the thing that's unique is the fact that if anybody comes at either one of us, we're always there to help each other out. Like we go at each other hard. Like the Air Force and the Army, they don't really have a thing. The Army and the Navy really don't have a thing. It's nothing like that. Like we literally bust each other's balls a lot. But heaven forbid somebody starts some shit with. With a Marine or a Navy guy, because we're like brothers from a weird fucking family that fight like cats and dogs, and yet don't you mess with my brother.
Right.
But at the same time, if back when I was in, or even after I got out, if someone was to pick a fight with one of my really good friends at the time who was an Army veteran.
Right.
Actually, somebody did pick a fight with my friend who was an Army veteran. And I took a crow hop and punched him in the back of the neck, and the dude just went limp.
Shit.
And we got out of there really quick.
Yeah.
And we might want to cut that out.
I might not. There could be pending charges associated with that.
Shit.
No date. We're good.
Well, no, I mean, that's one thing is
No
that
location
that's
either.
interesting you mentioned that because
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
It may or may not have happened.
He allegedly dropped to the ground.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not that strong.
And that's one of the things that we do. Yeah, I mean, we all defend each other being veterans and stuff. I mean, if you're in a bar or some location and somebody's a vet and anybody starts messing with them, they got to deal with all the other vets in there. And it doesn't even really matter what era you were from. I mean, although I'd find it hard to believe, or to have like a Korean War guy backing me up, but shit.
They would.
I'd rather have a Korean.
They would.
I would rather have a Korean War guy backing me up than some young guy.
Pulls out a K-bar. And
He very well might.
1911.
And it was just because the guy took your seat at the VFW.
I was, I've been a member. I've actually, have you guys a member of the VFW?
I'm not.
No? Ever joined? Nothing
No,
like that?
I was American Legion.
I was a Legion guy. Yeah.
I was a legionary.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
I
drank.
paid for a membership. I
Just never went?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I
especially
got drunk
now,
at the Legion.
Oh,
in
hell
recovery,
yeah.
Not in recovery.
sometimes it can't go to there in recovery. I mean, they give you like little tokens
Yeah.
for drinks. And so if you're in recovery, it's not really.
Are you the only?
What is that?
What?
The VFW?
VFW.
American
Veteran. VFW is Veterans of Foreign Wars, and the American Legion is. Well, let's see, American Legion. They're institutions. They're private organizations you can join if you're. American Legion you can join if you're a veteran or if you are the son or daughter of a veteran, and VFW you can join if you've served in a combat theater.
Like a Moose Lodge.
It's like a moose lodge, yeah, yeah, like
They
the
get-
mooses or elks, but it's military related.
Yeah, they get involved in
Yeah.
the community. They do like
Yeah, they actually do a
things.
lot of good.
They're there for each other. They most of those posts for any of them have a representative that will liaison that will help you with the VA and any paperwork stuff. So it's really
Yeah,
they
being
do
able
help
to,
out a lot.
Being able to get health services or disability and stuff like that. Yeah, I know the Legion does for
Yeah.
sure have that. Yeah, and they have hella drink prices.
But
Soda.
They do.
yeah, just like JP was saying, they've got great liaisons. If you're not plugged, if you're a veteran and you're not plugged into the VA, and you're having a hard time going about it, find the local American Legion, talk to them.
Yeah.
They'll get you hooked up.
They
Yeah,
will.
when my wife and I, ex-wife, when my ex-wife and I first moved down here from Michigan 6 years ago, that was the first place that I went, and they got us hooked up with. They really helped us get established down here, not just in the veteran community or through the VA, but I mean
Right.
with helping us out with a place to finding a realtor to get a place to live, helping me find a job. They actually while I was looking for work, they had me do some painting and some cooking there for a little while, so we could put some cash in our pocket while we're getting our businesses
Right.
up and running. I mean, it was really cool. And the unique thing is that that's also something that happens in 12-step programs at the right point in time. Is the
Yep.
fact that if somebody's considering going and stuff like that. we do look out for each other in other areas beyond just helping you get over drugs and alcohol when it's warranted. Because if you put, I know from personal experience and from observation and drawing conclusion from that, if you think, oh, what I need to stay sober, get sober is I just need the girl or the guy. I need a job. I need some money in my pocket. I need a car. I need a house. I need my kids back in my life. That's a big one that I've seen and thought myself. I need all this stuff on the outside, and then I'll be good. And the funny thing is what I've seen is you had all that stuff before,
and you
weren't good because you drank it all away or drugged it all away, but you just weren't good. You weren't good in your head and everything. And people come into the program and they think, well, I just acquire all these things and then I'll be okay. It's like you're kind of doing the same thing again, thinking this time it's going to be different.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and like you said, just you feel if the way it should be is you get good, and all those things will come.
And then you can keep them in your life.
Right. But you have to be good with you first.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
And I've noticed that, like, as I've worked on myself, good things have started just either falling into place or radiating, like I'm not looking like a like a skeezy addict, like active, like can I borrow $5?
Yeah, right.
But
who told you you weren't?
No, stop. You guys are mean. No, but like now it's like my mom helped me out with some motorcycle stuff. I need to get my tag renewed, and I'm going on disability right now, and so I didn't have enough because I got the new place, which the VA helped me with, and I just needed some money for my tag, and my mom was okay because she's back in my life. She's like, yeah, I'll help you out with that. Whereas before it'd been like, no, you're not getting money for shit, because you knew where that was going. But things are starting to happen as you do things for yourself.
And those are big milestones when you get family come back. Those are really important things when people suddenly don't mind having you around or come over to the house or, heaven forbid, give you a key to the house to use when they're out of town.
My brother actually last week texted me and said that he wanted me to come see my niece and nephew. And I hadn't seen them in months. And I was just kind of waiting, but they've known that I've been kind of on the straight and narrow and getting things done. Well, for him to reach out and say, hey, I want you to come by and see your niece and nephew, like that just almost broke me down. Like, I'm glad it was a text. You know what I mean?
Really?
Because if it was on the phone, I'm okay. I'll be right over.
Right.
I just don't know what to do with my... But it meant so much for that, and I know it's from me just making sure that each day I'm doing the right thing.
See, that's the thing. Each day. That's interesting. You should mention that because really all we have is today. There's no guarantee that we've got tomorrow. And like on that note, so let me ask you, since you came in and shared your experience, strength, and hope with us today, and a lot more, and thank you for that. There's no guarantee of tomorrow.
Right.
You don't know if you're going to wake up tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to wake up tomorrow. JP doesn't. Nick doesn't. Nobody knows if we're going to wake up tomorrow. All we really have is today. So so hypothetically, let's say you, Eli, were given one more day, and you were told that tomorrow is the last day. You don't get another one after that. You die. You go to heaven or nirvana, or you come back as a cow or whatever happens to us when that transpires. Where would you go on your last day?
What would you do?
Yeah, that's the next thing. Yeah, where would you go? Who would you either spend time with, or who would you go see? And then what would you say to people, humanity, the planet? Like, what would be your parting words would you say to them at the end of your day, like before you lay down and went to sleep or whatever transpired to you? Where would you go? Who would you see or visit or spend your day with? And what would you say?
So, I mean, we got 24 hours in this one day, so obviously I'm going to consume a lot of energy drinks.
Right.
Well, I'd start my day off like I do every day, and look at myself in the mirror and tell myself that I'm a drug addict of the hopeless type. What are you going to do about it? And,
wow.
And I'd start my day off like that with my morning my morning routine, my prayer and meditation.
Okay.
And the first person I would probably go see would be my grandmother and my grandfather. I'd spend a few hours with them. And I know this sounds like I'm full of shit, but this is straight from the heart. And I would meet with a sponsee.
Oh, wow.
I like that.
Obviously, I'd
You
have
have one in mind, or you
just any of them.
Any of them that
Yeah.
were available?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And we'd do some reading. We'd do some step work, and I'd finish up the day with my fiance Haley,
Oh.
and we'd probably watch some TV and Netflix and chill. You know.
Netflix. Oh yeah, Netflix and chill. Okay,
And,
cool.
Waka
waka,
of course,
what's up,
of
man?
course you would. Yeah.
Then-
Why, yeah.
Then I'd do my nightly inventory,
Okay.
and then I'd wake up dead.
Wake up dead.
And my last day on earth would have been a great one because I got to enjoy the gifts of working with others and helping others
Okay.
by spending time with my loved ones, my family. But I also got to continue that legacy by meeting with another guy and sitting down and watching those lights come on in him.
That's pretty awesome.
Shit. You made me feel like a dick.
Fuck, dude, you almost brought tears to my eyes. Like I started. I'm like,
I feel like a dick.
I feel real emotional.
I'd have been like, I'm going to go to like the Taj Mahal and all that stuff. And I'm going to, like, that was amazing. I don't know, man. Now I feel like less of a person.
And what would you say? Like, what would you? That was the thing. So, like, what's your part? What would be your parting words to the world? Really?
Ooh.
I told you there was. I told you.
Yeah,
I told you there was going to be something.
we love you,
at the
Asheville. Good
end.
night. Is that?
So
Go 49ers.
yeah, it'd probably be Go Niners.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, probably my parting words would be something along the lines of just love. You know, when you go out there, just love. If you do that, you're gonna have a pretty good day. You're gonna have a pretty good life.
Love people. Love. Yeah.
Just love.
Okay.
Yogananda, he's got this quote that I really, really have taken in, and I try and remind myself of it daily. Those who live passionately teach us how to love. Those who love passionately teach us how to live.
I like that.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll have some of that.
I'll have what he's having.
$30, that's all. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh. No.
That's that. No, that was some good.
That's pretty epic, man.
good shit.
That sounds like a great way to spend the day.
Hey, I mean, we were just talking about all the outside shit doesn't matter, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't matter where I go, if I go see some awesome show, like I would love to have had the chance to see Led Zeppelin live, right?
Right.
But that's not going to happen. But what I can do is like see those lights come on in somebody else, see that hope come back into their life.
You could listen to Led Zeppelin in your truck while you're driving.
Yeah, and I probably fucking would.
Yeah.
Led
Yeah.
Zeppelin's.
Cut for a second. Sorry, these things stopped at my headphones.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well.
Good.
Oh, cool.
Led Zeppelin?
Yeah, love them.
Yeah.
But
I just got the Beatles. I started collecting LPs again. I got a record player for like $50, and it's got Bluetooth and everything. It's pretty cool.
Oh,
A record player, LP.
so you can burn your vinyl onto.
No. I've got the vinyl's coming back.
Really?
So like
Okay.
even Walmart sells vinyl.
yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, and I
didn't know
got
that.
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
That is a freaking awesome.
I just got that
album.
like brand new pressing, but you know it's
Right.
not like an original. But I've got it hooked to my little like stand up speaker and stuff, and I'll be blasting some Sublime or they've
Right.
got everything. I got NWA.
Hell
It was
yeah.
bad, dude. It was awesome. So yeah, that made me think of it because now I need to go get Zeppelin. Yeah, I got. There's a place
Crazy
in
motherfucker
Asheville.
named Ice Cube.
There's a place in Asheville called Compton Place. So we are going out there and we're gonna like video walking out of it, coming straight out of Compton.
Coming straight
but
out of
then we'll have
Compton.
to we'll just be
That's
walking down the
freaking
street because it has a sign that says Compton Place, but then we'll just have to have one of us add place.
Yes.
Straight out of Compton.
Place.
us. Maybe we can get them to sponsor us, and then we could do like a video bit,
a
do
neighborhood.
like a remote.
We'll get the HOA to sponsor us.
Yeah, Asheville's got. For anybody who's not in Asheville, what do you guys think of Asheville? I fucking love it, man. I love it.
I miss LA.
You do?
Yeah, I love
What the hell
LA.
do you? I lived in LA for a while.
I did too. I lived there 4 years. I want to go back to LA and do it right instead of going downhill like I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I want to go back there and just do things right because there's nothing better. than
There's
that area.
there's pretty good recovery in Los Angeles too.
Yeah?
Traffic sucks though.
Yeah.
Not on a motorcycle.
Not on a motor. Yeah, true. I love Asheville, man. Like I grew up in Western North Carolina. I've lived here pretty much all but 4 years of my life, and man, I've been all over the world, and I think this is the most beautiful place you can find. That's my opinion, but hey, that's all that matters to me, right?
I've heard all around the world, same song. Really, nothing. Digital Underground.
Oh my God.
Oh, geez, man, come on. Yeah, so for people, because I mean, if there's people listening or watching the show that are not from Asheville, I'm almost tempted to tell you to come here, but fuck that shit. Like, don't come here.
Right?
Because you'll think it's so cool. Like, oh, we should move there. No. There's like, you think LA's got bad traffic?
I was gonna say
for our size city.
Traffic's getting to be like LA
No,
Yeah.
no,
And housing costs.
It is not.
at 4 a.m.
Okay, yeah. That's accurate.
And housing's getting to be like Los Angeles too.
that's-
Like the
that's
cost
true.
of housing,
Well-
it's getting freaking nuts.
Yeah.
Especially in like the ritzier parts of town, for sure.
Yeah.
But even the styles of houses are just like the kind that were in like West Hollywood and stuff. I've seen the new builds up here. They look like something. Now that's true because they're like 1.5 million in West Hollywood for like 180
Square feet.
square feet, 180,000. Or no, not 100. That's like
100
1,800 square feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
1.5 million for
1.5
1,800. Well,
yeah.
we're not quite there, but we'll probably, at this rate, if we keep going the way we're going, we're probably going to get that way.
Yeah, it's on its
Yeah.
way.
Saw some houses in Beaver Dam today with probably about 2,200 square feet for about $750,000. Yeah.
It's on its way.
That's nuts.
Yeah, man. Well, we still have real estate
Yeah.
We do have real
They
estate.
don't.
Yeah.
out there. So
But the thing is, we don't want our mountains like, just all covered with houses. And
I
it
do.
destroys the view.
let's cut the
Fuck you,
tips
man.
off. Let's
Oh my
like start mining some coal. You know, I want the black lung.
Black lung pops.
Show us your blue steel. There you go.
Oh, wow, that was
there it
actually
is.
pretty good.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Good recovery here.
Again.
There we go. Oh yeah, that'd make it good still. Yeah, good.
Merman.
Good.
Merman pops.
Yeah,
Merman.
Good recovery here in Asheville. That was one thing I was concerned about.
Yeah.
Asheville. See, I got sober the first time around in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and U of M is there, the campus, and
Yeah.
obviously the football team and everything. And it was a very tight knit recovery community. A lot of the businesses were really sensitive to people in early recovery and midterm and long-term recovery as well. But
Right.
it was really easy to find work. A lot of three-quarter houses, treatment centers, things of that nature, and just huge meetings. I mean, there's a Saturday night meeting on out in Ypsilanti where there's like, it's a speaker meeting, and there's like 400 people that go to that thing every
Whoa.
Saturday night. And I was not clean or sober when I moved down here. 5.5, almost 6 years ago, and my first couple meetings I went to here in Asheville, I was like, "This is gonna suck." Because like 5-6 people, in the meeting, and I'm like, "Oh God, I'm gonna have to move someplace else." But no, recovering from drug addiction and alcoholism here in Asheville, it's big, it's huge.
Yeah, I mean, and I actually myself, I prefer those type of meetings.
Same.
The
big
smaller,
ones?
yeah, no, those smaller, like the 4 or 5 people. And I mean, like it's so much more personal, like
Sure.
a connection where they have at the VA. I don't know if you guys do the Veteran X or whatever that is.
I've done that, yeah.
Don't they have a speaker and like with a microphone and all that stuff?
They do. Yes, they do.
I'm not down with that. Like if I go there, I want to have like some one-on-one time with someone or feel like I'm actually being listened to or connected with.
Sure. So you like the smaller AA and
Yeah, or smaller groups.
meetings.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I like the groups where everybody gets dressed up like peacocks, And
I know what.
they go there to pick other people up.
You fucking ain't right.
That's
Those are the ones I like.
That's the underground.
I like that. Well, we're not going to mention meeting names, but those are the ones that I like. And I
bling
like
bling meetings.
the bling bling meetings, yes, because I like to go there and watch everybody. It's just if you sit back and watch, it's freaking hilarious.
Oh wait,
Everybody's
you're serious? I didn't know.
I'm totally serious. I'm totally serious because like you'll have like groups of guys and groups of girls and everybody's all dressed up and
Dressed to the nines.
Like it's funny because you'll have people sit and then inevitably you'll get the guy with the backwards cap and the neck tattoos and he's wearing Jordans and he's got to go get his coffee after everybody's sat down so he gets to strut through the middle so all the girls look at him and stuff. It's kind of humorous to watch. I mean, I get it. Loneliness and early sobriety.
I want to go to one of those
There's a bunch of
meetings.
different reasons, but yeah, loneliness and definitely, having to look at yourself, having to contend with being by yourself or working. There's a bunch of different reasons why I believe people go to meetings and do that, but I find those ones are hilarious. They're just freaking hilarious.
Constant separation, man. Right? Like this freaking drug addict mind. It wants me separate from everyone.
Sure.
And it starts out with things like that. Like I hear someone pick up a 1-year medallion.
Okay.
And they're like, "Oh, I did it because of you guys," and I'm like, "No, the fuck you didn't, bitch.
No, you didn't.
You did it bone powder fucking dry, or you worked the steps.
Pretty much.
One or the other. But that's me separating. Like
Okay.
Maybe she did. Maybe they did do it off of
The backs
the help of other people.
Yeah.
But Eli can't do it like that, and that's fine. Like we're still suffering from the same disease, and we're still getting better.
Yeah, I couldn't do it that way. I came in and I finished all steps in 3 weeks.
What?
I had to.
Well, that's because you're OCD.
No, because
because he wants to be the best.
No, it doesn't have anything to do with that because I knew that if I didn't,
Captain Recovery.
it's really loud.
I have the text to prove it.
Yeah, no, fuck you guys.
You're OCD as fuck.
No,
You are,
dude,
I know.
I was gonna fucking die. I was gonna pick up and use again. That's what it was. I was worried. I was worried.
By the way.
Yeah,
What?
we appreciate it. We're giving you a hard time, but we love you for it.
Thanks. I was seriously. I was concerned that there was a chance I could pick up again. Right. I got into it so fast because I didn't want that fucking life anymore.
You didn't want that feeling.
And by
again.
life, I mean I didn't want what was going on in my head to keep going on in my head.
Yeah.
And I got into this thing as fast as possible because my experience before showed me that when I stay in places like that, I'll pick up a drink or a drug because that will make it go away, if just for a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Just give me some fucking relief.
Ease and comfort, right?
Yeah, ease and comfort. So I couldn't do it just on like the fellowship and hanging out with people, smoking cigarettes afterwards and stuff.
You need purpose, meaning. But what I got from you about the the drug addict mind, we're separating ourselves, distancing, and all that. I think someone told me the biggest thing that helps your success in this, because that's a big hurdle, the separation and all that. Humble pie, man. It's not always about me. And so when I was able to eat that pie and say, it's not always about me, this is their journey, this is this person's journey, whatever, I'm not going to judge this. Then really it made it a lot easier to be around people.
I'm not laughing at you. I just thought of something.
I know. I always trigger these weird chuckles. I say something makes you think of something.
I'm debating whether I want to say what's going through my head.
Yeah.
So why do you go to meetings, Eli? What's the point? Like, you've worked all 12 steps, you've recovered. I mean, there's no shortage of people to find. I mean, you can go to a freaking hospital, a psych ward, a treatment center, a three-quarter house. Like, you can rip a guy, find a guy in the street and get him sober. Like, why even go to meetings at this point? What's the point?
Well,
you're in a relationship, so you're not. Obviously, I would hope you're not going there to, for unhealthy. Well, that's not necessarily unhealthy.
For
picking up chicks. Yeah.
Or dudes.
That's
dudes,
why I
whatever,
go. That's actually why I go to meetings. Yeah.
Picking up dudes?
Yeah, because I don't want to be separated from a woman.
Oh.
Yeah. So
no, I'm messing around. But
so I'm really glad you asked that, Scott. there's two parts to that question. You said, why do I go to meetings? Why don't I just go to halfway houses, treatment centers, things like that? I do go to treatment centers. I do go to halfway houses. I do go to recovery centered places, sober living, and that's a big part of what keeps me sober.
Really?
But I go to meetings because in that situation I'm placed in a position of maximum service where I can carry that message that it is possible to recover from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. I can pass that on to someone else. And like part of the 12-step program, as both y'all know, we have to give back, right?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can't keep this thing, because once we keep it, then we're being selfish. Selfishness, self-centeredness, that fucking kills me.
Right.
So I go there because basically they bust drug addicts and alcoholics in there. All you fucking have to do is show up
Pretty
and
much.
not sound like a moron, and you will be able to help somebody. And even if you do sound like a moron, you can still probably help somebody.
Yeah,
Like,
the morons help me. I
same.
I honestly, like, I cannot rely on the fact that I'll remember my last drunk or my last high. But I can go to a meeting and I can see somebody who's literally in the middle of their last drunk or their last high, and I can go, "Yep, that's how I stay reminded." I've heard it said before.
Yeah.
Oh, if you forget your last drunk, you're doomed to drink again. Okay, so I just go to a meeting and I get to see my last drunk, because my last drunk just walked in the door and he's sitting right there. And
Visualization.
and I'm going to go up to him afterwards and I'm going to ask him how he's doing.
And I find other shortcomings in myself. Like once I start to get a little bit of dis-ease going on, like when someone shares a certain thing that I don't like, I'm like, oh, that motherfucker, and then I go ahead and do a 10-step on it, and I look at why that's bothering me.
Right.
So I'm able to grow from that too,
Yeah.
Okay.
Learning to take whatever situation's going on and getting some growth from it. And it's not just at meetings. That could be at work. It can be in my relationship. I tell you what, you want to grow, get in a fucking relationship. You will grow a lot.
I'm trying. I'm really trying right now.
It's hard.
No,
It's really hard doing it sober and living this spiritual way of life.
Yeah, I'm trying to get in a relationship, Eli. You know this. We've talked about that. Oh, what?
We're,
what are we doing? 110?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hour 10.
Hour 10.
I'm actually doing okay with this. I
Yeah.
just have to turn it off when
It gets too hot.
Yeah, and it's actually doing all right.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
and then I also have this third up, so if it does totally shit.
Right.
You still have.
I love that.
Fucking A, right.
I love that I'm trying to do like the hand cues. I'm like, wrap it up. And then I'm like, look up there. And he goes, what, hour 10 mark? What does that mean?
1.10.
It's the first show. Yeah, fuck you guys.
This is podcast, not radio.
Right. I know. I just
Yeah.
like giving it anything I can give Scott
And it's
shit
not
about.
live.
More professionalism, the better. But yeah, I love the idea of like the fucking desperate producer being like,
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Makes me think of
Are you having a seizure over there, Nick?
it makes me think of like the public access stuff they do on Tim and Eric.
Yeah.
Yes.
When it's like the bad editing,
bad
and they're
editing.
like, come on down. Hey.
Yeah,
I'm not slung
a
those.
relationship. Yeah, a relationship definitely brings up other aspects of yourself to be worked on that cannot be brought up. Will never be brought up as long as you're single. And I'm probably a fucking idiot for wanting that. But yeah, I do. I
Well,
do.
they said, I mean, the advice they give you is your first year of sobriety.
Yeah, let's talk about this.
Not get in that.
So
I totally skipped that.
Yeah, fuck that.
So let's talk.
I went right into a relationship.
So I'll share this because this is what I've told my sponsees. This is what was told to me by my sponsor. I was not told not to get in a relationship for the first year, although a lot of people are. I haven't been able to find that in the literature. And I know people who've gotten into relationships like while they met in treatment and they've been married or together, like
Few and far between, but it does
Few and far
happen.
between, but it does happen.
Yeah.
So what my sponsor told me was, and I share this with my sponsees, is he said, I'm going to suggest that you don't get involved with anybody, relationship or sexual, even for that matter, because that's a level of involvement, until after you do your fifth step. Because after your fifth step, who and what you're attracted to is going to change. And I wasn't on a fifth step, so I didn't know what he said. So my first time around at about 6 weeks. I started the steps, and I had my 4-step written out. I'd gone to a meeting on a Wednesday night, and a couple of the ladies, young girls that I was, girls, I just fucking sounded so
Wow.
Fucking creeper.
Yeah, the 14-year-olds. No, I'm just kidding.
Deleted.
Yeah, we're gonna edit that out.
By the way, it sounds like you're saying fist step,
Fist step.
and
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking.
That's why I was talking young. That's why I was talking to women. 'Cause
Yeah.
the fist step. No.
The fist.
Jesus Christ.
This
Yeah.
this is really escalating.
Yeah. No, so there were some girls there that obviously I'd known and seen at meetings and everything, and I was interested in them. And that was on a Wednesday night. Thursday morning, I got up. I did my fifth step with my sponsor. I took an hour to myself, came back. We did 6, 7, 8, and I started making my amends list. That was on a Thursday morning and afternoon. Thursday night, I went to another meeting, and at that meeting were a couple of those young ladies. God, there's that fucking word again. A couple women. I'll just say women. There were a couple women at that meeting that were at the Wednesday meeting before, and I walked in, and I looked at them, and I said, oh my God, what the fuck was I thinking? And not that they're bad in any way, shape, or form. There was nothing about them that was negative. They hadn't changed, as a matter of fact, in the 24-hour period. And that 24-hour period, the only thing they had changed was their outfits and the meeting they had gone to. But I had changed as a result of working that step. And so what I found attractive and what I wanted to align myself with significantly changed as a result of working those steps. So that's the thing that I share with my sponsees. Now, I've got one that like just fucking took that advice and just threw it right out the fucking window.
Oh yeah, thanks for
And he
telling
seems
me.
to be doing, yeah, you know, and things seem to be going fine. But that's what, for me, that was the thing too. And like, because I've known from personal experience that I was going to change. That whole don't get into a relationship for you
Yeah.
thing. That's cock blocking.
It is, man.
It is.
Dude.
It's called program cock blocking.
So-
It is. No, I'm just.
So here's a theory on it, and
Okay.
I could fucking miss the mark completely.
Sure.
Most likely.
If I'm 1 year,
Do you have an expert
sober.
rifleman badge? Did you get that?
Not my last one. My last one was a sharpshooter.
Sharpshooter. Okay. So you may not miss the mark. All
that
right.
was a 4-timer.
All right.
Yeah, you had to requal 4 times. No, I'm kidding. No, I actually qualified sharpshooter in a hurricane, but that's not important. No big deal.
Toot your own horn. Okay.
yeah,
Your theory.
so-
Your theory.
So here's my theory on it. If I've been 1 year sober,
Okay.
which I have before. I've had 1 year clean and sober.
Oh, you have. So this
Bone-
isn't your first time
No,
around.
not at all. It's my first time actually doing the work.
Okay.
Bone powder fucking dry. I am focusing on outside things to keep me sober. I'm placing my reliance on worldly things per se, like my fiance.
Don't like a person of the opposite sex or same sex, depending on what you're into.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
But no, not exactly. Just anything I can use to fill this void in me, right?
Right.
Sure.
And I'm extremely
You have a
selfish still.
void. You have a void in you.
Yes.
He's avoiding it.
So
You're a man. You're supposed to fill voids.
can I answer this
Yeah.
question?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I was just wondering.
I'm trying to get some comedy in.
I was just wondering.
That's what the video's for.
All right.
Yeah, like it's looking right at your face. There's gonna be plenty of comedy.
Off.
Oh shit!
Oh, it went
I
off.
got it from the side, but
Yeah.
Here comes the comedy.
You-
No, but Jesus Christ. So I've been a year dry before, and
Right.
I was in a relationship, and you know what? When she did something wrong, I used that as an excuse for me to do something wrong.
Really?
To make the most insane mistake I can possibly make. And mind you, I'm at 18 months sober. Not even a year, 18 months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I've been in this relationship before I even started trying to get sober.
Okay.
But at 18 months, bone powder fucking dry, I let one thing she did be my excuse to make the most insane decision I can make.
Yeah.
Which is what?
Which is to pick up the first drink or drug, because once I do that, I don't know what's going to happen after that. I may have just one but 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna have 100.
Who the fuck wants to have one?
I'm gonna make 20 trips to the ATM.
Yeah.
Probably the same ATM.
No
Yeah.
shit.
And it's gonna. I'm gonna get there. You know, like I'm gonna keep going until either I'm passed out or I'm out of money and out of
Options.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that because, I'm in a relationship, and that's why I brought up the thing. I'm 6 months in.
Right.
But I've found myself thinking those thoughts. I've caught them, and I've called people. That's the thing, is I'll call someone when I have that thought, but I'll get upset at the relationship over something small or something big. I don't care, but I'll think, and it's blatantly in my head, I can use this to justify relapsing. Like, I'm not saying, oh, I need this for this. No, it's like, oh, I can relapse. It'll be okay because this happened.
Ooh.
And that's when I'm like, I got to call somebody. And I pride myself on being able to do that, not doing the step work right now, but still picking up that phone.
Those are crucial tools that whether you're working the steps or not, that's something that
exactly.
definitely, works in a pinch. You mentioned being bone powder dried. You ever tried to kill yourself?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's a big.
Unfortunately, it didn't work.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
That was dark.
On that note, I'm the fuck out of here. No, just playing. No, very fortunately, it did not work.
Yeah,
but,
thank God.
Yeah, man. It's a big issue with veterans,
Because
with,
honestly,
with society in general.
I'd be fucked. I would be. I wouldn't have nearly as a good life had you actually been successful. On that. I'm being honest. That's not like funny radio.
No, I get that.
Broadcast. Cast, podcast,
What were
cast.
you
What kind of
saying?
cast are we doing? I'm being serious. Like I would, because meeting you when I was in treatment was crucial. I'm really glad that God didn't
That it happened.
Yeah,
Same.
that he stepped
Yeah.
in, because I would be a totally different man today.
What were you saying? Eli,
A
about
happier man,
the
probably in
numbers?
some areas, but no, I'm just fucking.
About a big thing with veterans.
I know.
Eli, you were saying
I
something
would.
that I want
You
to
said a lot of veterans.
finish hearing.
No, seriously.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Are you
No,
sure?
I'm very glad you were unsuccessful.
Me too.
I am.
Yeah.
And you know
So-
what? And there's a lot of men and women here in Asheville that are very glad that you weren't successful in that too.
Well,
We would be a lot worse off. There would be a void in.
I'm undecided.
There would be a void.
yeah, and it's not like I'm anybody special. Like
No, you aren't.
somebody else would have been able to step in
No.
and fill that role, but
No.
fortunately, we don't have to even
No.
think about that because it didn't happen.
Right.
I'm still here. I get to be part of other people's lives, and in turn, I get to have you guys be part of my life, which is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But only for today,
Yeah, exactly.
because you don't know. I'd like to have you around tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but seriously, no, yeah, only for today.
So what were you saying? It was a big thing about with veterans. like
Veterans,
this
yeah.
suicide. Because I
Suicide.
know
Yeah.
I connect with you on that little that attempt. You and I are on the same page on
Yeah.
that. I've had that too, and I know that feeling. I know going back to it is not pretty.
I've done it 4 times
Being there.
unsuccessfully.
Right. So
4
we
times.
know.
4 different ways, and none of them worked.
And before you talk about this, I do want to mention, if you are thinking about this, if you're listening to this and you are thinking these thoughts that we're bringing up, this is kind of, we joke a little bit, but it's serious. You need to call somebody, just like I call somebody when I'm feeling, that urge to relapse or something. But when it's serious, you can call that VA crisis line.
Yeah.
And it's 1-800-273-8255. I've got the veteran support bracelet thing.
Yeah.
That's got that number on it because I'm not that smart.
Yeah.
I can look on my wrist and even if I don't have my phone. But I know where you were going with this, and I want to get that out now that we got Scott done with his wild tangent because he felt bad. He did. He felt bad. He's like, I said a horrible thing.
He's probably not
I
done
say,
either.
I say a horrible. You know what? I'll go to bed just fine tonight and sleep just well because I say horrible things
Just
all
for
the
today.
time. Just for today.
Okay.
But yeah, or people in the even if you're not a veteran, there's resources out there. You can go online and you can Google crisis lines for alcoholism and drug addiction. And there'll be alcoholics and people who can understand you will actually help. They will help. They'll talk to you on the phone. They'll even send people out to you, like 12-step stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly what I was saying. JP was there's roughly about 22 veterans a day that commit suicide, and a lot of them aren't as fortunate as us three were. Like they succeed in the attempt. When I was in treatment, actually while I was on the psych ward, I wasn't even in treatment yet. I got 2 phone calls of friends that are no longer with us now.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And one of them I served with, and one was a veteran that I met through another resource. And man, it's
Heavy.
it really is. And I think a lot of it comes from that separation.
Okay.
I'm not saying that they're all addicts or alcoholics. I'm saying that there's something going on upstairs, and they feel like they are separate and connected, because that was they disconnected, because that was my experience. I felt disconnected. I felt like nothing was ever going to get better, and I'm sitting here right now to tell everyone, like, it can get better, and it does get better, and it will get better.
You're living proof.
Yeah, man.
You're living proof. We're all living proof. The fact they can get better. And it is, the separation thing. No, it's not separate. This is not a recovery from anything. You can try it separate, but it's really a we thing. It's something that we all do together. It's not a solo.
Again,
it's not a solo gig.
Again, if you are having those thoughts of harming yourself or others, I mean, there's someone that can listen. So you can call that VA crisis line. Anybody can call it. 1-800-273-8255, and then use option 1.
Yeah,
but they'll help you out.
Thanks for coming in, Eli.
Hey, thanks for
having me. That was really
guys.
awesome having you here. Yeah.
Thanks, Sheila.
This dude. Hey, I'll take it. I've been called a lot worse.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That was a term of endearment.
Yeah. It's been an honor. I really appreciate Scott and JP and Nick for having me here today. This has been a blast.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
We knew. We're really glad that you accepted our invitation to actually come in and talk with us today, just for today. We might talk tomorrow. We might not. But
probably not if I can help it.
We might have you back again.
We might have to have you back
if you stop making Scott nervous.
I'll have to get more crayons.
Oh, those were delicious.
Yeah, I can't believe you actually ate a crayon, dude. That's crazy. I've ate cat food before, but we'll probably do that on another show. But thanks for coming in. Thanks to Broke.
Still hate.
I'm sorry, my brain.
I was doing that for like
30
seconds.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah, well, he's giving me the stare, dude. You look like you. Nah, I couldn't, man. Good thing you and I weren't out there using together.
You know who has
that would be,
right.
Oh yeah, that
you
would
know
be.
who has the most
interesting.
patience during all this?
Who?
Our producer.
I know our producer. Yeah,
Yes.
Nick.
I think we should throw out there.
I'm getting there
About that. I'm just saying. I'm just saying
that he's
he's awesome.
No, he's pacing back and forth.
He's pacing patiently. Awesomeness.
No, Nick is awesome, and Broken Helm is awesome, and I just wanted to thank them on behalf of myself and Eli and JP
man.
for having us here at Broken Helm to be able to do this, to do our cast.
Some are.
You have to say it one more time.
Yeah.
Broken Helm.
Broken Helm.
Because 3 times it sinks in.
Broken Helm.
No, the third time it's going to be like Beetlejuice.
Beetlegeist.
Beetlejuice.
He did it. We're fucking.
He did. Goodbye.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks. So for today,
Maybe tomorrow.
for me
we'll
and
see.
JP and Broken Helm, yeah. Thanks for coming in, Eli. Thanks everybody for listening to us.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, that was easy.
How did that go?
That went absolutely awesome.
Really?
It was a shit show for me, like towards the end, because
Okay.
the cameras